Chapter 3. The Forest That Remembered Names. By the third day, the forest had stopped pretending to be ordinary. At first, the changes were subtle. The birds sang the same 6 notes over and over, as though they had forgotten the rest of their songs. Streams curved uphill for a few moments before correcting themselves. The shadows of the trees pointed east while the sun set in the west. Magic always bent reality. Ancient magic broke it. I followed the fading pull in my chest, the thread that still connected me to brim and moss. It was weaker now, like trying to hear a heartbeat through layers of stone, but it remained. Every few hours I would stop, close my eyes, and feel for them. They were alive, exhausted, terrified, but alive. That alone kept my feet moving. The forest had its own language. Most people imagined that trees whispered. They didn't. Trees remembered. Every ring inside a trunk held another year of memories. A witch could listen, if she knew how. I pressed my palm against the bark of an ancient oak whose trunk was wider than my cottage. "Please," I whispered, "show me who passed." The bark grew warm beneath my hand. The world dissolved. For one impossible moment, I wasn't standing in the forest anymore. I was seeing through the tree's memory. Rain poured across the same clearing, though it had happened long ago. Animals fled in every direction. Deer, foxes, owls flying in broad daylight. Then he appeared, the warlock. His robes drifted without wind. Behind him walked dozens of creatures made entirely of shadow. Some resembled wolves. Others looked almost human. None had faces. Leashes of silver light stretched behind him. At the end of every leash, a familiar. Cats, ravens, owls, a stag with glowing antlers, a white fox, even a bear cub. Each animal walked silently, their eyes dull and empty. Near the back, I saw Brim. His massive frame trembled as he resisted every step. Moss walked beside him. Unlike the others, Moss wasn't obeying. He kept pulling against the leash, looking behind him, searching for me. Even inside the memory, my heart shattered. "I'm coming," I whispered. Moss suddenly stopped. His ears perked. He turned his head directly toward the tree. Toward me. Impossible. He couldn't see into a memory. Could he? For a single heartbeat, his tail wagged. Then the vision ended. I stumbled backward, tears running freely down my face. "He heard me." The old oak groaned. A single acorn dropped at my feet. It split open by itself. Inside was not a seed, and it was a tiny black tooth. Human. I didn't pick it up. Some gifts from the forest came with prices hidden inside them. The farther north I traveled, the quieter the woods became. Not peaceful, empty. No squirrels, no insects, no birds. Even the wind refused to enter. The silence felt crowded, like thousands of unseen things were holding their breath. As dusk settled over the trees, I found a stone well in the middle of a clearing. There shouldn't have been a well. No villages had ever existed this deep in the woods. The stones were smooth with age. Ancient runes circled the rim. One word had been carved deeper than the others: thirst. Every instinct told me to keep walking. Instead, I heard barking. Brim. It came from inside the well, loud, desperate. I rushed forward. "Brim!" The barking stopped. I leaned over the edge. Darkness swallowed everything below. "Brim?" Then another voice answered, my own. "I'm down here." My blood froze. "Help me." It was my voice. Perfect. Every breath. Every crack, every tiny imperfection. "I'm trapped." Something moved in the darkness. A pale hand reached upward. My hand. "No," I whispered. "You have to hurry." The thing below sounded frightened. "I can't hold on much longer." Another hand appeared. Then a face. My face. It smiled. Not kindly. Too widely. Its jaw opened farther than any humans should. The smile kept stretching. Teeth cracked, skin split. The voice changed. "You still believe everything that sounds familiar?" Long black arms erupted from the darkness. I jumped backward as skeletal fingers grabbed the rim of the well. The creature pulled itself upward. It wore my face like a mask that didn't fit. Its body was impossibly thin. Its arms reached almost to the ground. Its fingers ended in black claws. It climbed over the edge without making a sound. "I've missed your kind," it said. "What are you?" It tilted its head. A reflection. "No." "A hunger." "No." It smiled again. "A lie." That answer felt closest to the truth. It moved before I saw it move. One moment it stood 20 feet away. The next its claws slashed toward my throat. I barely raised my staff in time. Wood exploded. The impact threw me across the clearing. The creature didn't chase. It simply watched, curious, as if studying how frightened I might become. Fear feeds some monsters. This one seemed to savor it. I reached into my satchel and scattered a handful of rowan berries onto the ground. The berries glowed blue. The creature hissed, "Interesting, not invincible." It circled me slowly. "You're weaker than the last witch." "There were others." "So many." It chuckled. "They all came looking for something." "And?" "They found me." I whispered a binding spell beneath my breath. Thin vines erupted from the earth and wrapped around its legs. For a heartbeat, it was trapped. Then the vines began screaming. Not tearing, screaming. They writhed away from the creature and buried themselves back into the soil. Even plants feared it. The creature laughed. "You cannot bind what has no true shape." It lunged again. This time I was ready. I drew the silver knife from my belt and slashed across its arm. Instead of blood, black water poured from the wound. The clearing filled with the smell of stagnant ponds and rotten leaves. The creature shrieked. The sound shattered nearby branches. It stumbled backward, clutching its arm. Silver. It feared silver. Good. I pressed forward. One slash, then another. Each cut made the thing less solid. Its limbs flickered like smoke. "You don't belong here!" I shouted. It laughed through obvious pain. "Neither do you." Then it dissolved. Not vanished, melted. The black water seeped back into the earth. The clearing fell silent once more. Only my ragged breathing remained. Night had fully fallen. I dared not camp near the well. As I walked away, I noticed something hanging from a nearby branch. A leather collar. Old. Worn. I recognized it instantly. Moss's. My hands shook as I picked it up. The buckle was bent. The leather smelled faintly of smoke. Someone had cut it off, not broken, a cut, which meant someone had removed his leash. Hope flared inside me for the first time since the warlock came. Moss had escaped, or at least, he had tried. Then I noticed the blood, just one drop. Fresh enough that it hadn't fully dried. My fingers tightened around the collar. "Moss!" A low growl echoed through the darkness. Not brim, not moss. Something much larger. Branches snapped somewhere ahead. One pair of glowing amber eyes appeared between the trees. Then another, then 6 more. 8 sets of eyes stared at me from the darkness. Slowly. Massive wolf-shaped figures emerged into the moonlight. Each stood nearly as tall as a horse. Their fur was charcoal black. Their mouths dripped silver saliva that hissed wherever it touched the ground. At their center stood the largest of them all. Its left ear was torn. Its muzzle was covered in old scars. Around its neck hung a chain of black iron. The enormous wolf lowered its head and sniffed the air. When it spoke, its voice sounded almost human. "You smell like the one he seeks." The pack spread out, silently surrounding me. The scarred wolf took one slow step closer, then another. Its amber eyes narrowed. "You carry the scent of 2 stolen familiars." It bared teeth longer than my knife. "Tell us, little witch, why should we let you leave our forest alive?"